There is no place so bleak, so dark, so corrupt, that the love of Gaia cannot pierce it. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Rage Across the Internet. As always, I'm your host Porter. To my left, producer Joey.
Hey guys.
And in studio with us again is Danny. Say hi, Danny.
Hey everybody.
And we got a treat for you today. Today is the first episode of our tribal series. And, in the interest of fairness, we discussed it before. We took all those tribes in equally sized pieces of paper, threw them in a hat, drew them out, so that our friends at the Uctina and Wendigo aren't completely screwed. So what comes up first? The Children of Gaia.
Woohoo!
Which is an episode that is going to be interesting. There's definitely some mixed feelings on this one.
Yeah.
But let's dive in and have some fun with it. So Joey.
I'll try.
Yes.
You are our resident child of Gaia right now. Your character, Echo Punches the Mountain,
Yes.
is a child of Gaia. How about you enlighten us as to what made that decision for you?
Okay. I knew I wasn't going to play a Black Fury because been there, done that. And I love that tribe. But Children of Gaia, they hold a place in my heart. There's that soft spot that I have for them. They are, a peaceful, loving tribe. And they're inclusive. And I chose to use a dichotomy and make that an Aharon character and explore the depths and what that means.
And I think we're definitely going to dive into that as the episode goes on, but I think definitely the key word here is soft. Danny, what about you? How do you land on the Children of Gaia?
Started off with a nice bird. It feels good not to be on the other end of that stick.
It's the burn stick?
Yep.
Don't make me get a pillowcase.
Nice.
No,
we're doing that again.
Right. Full disclosure, as I asked Danny a question, then immediately cut him off. I am sorry, sir.
That's fine.
We all obviously doubled up on our research for this. I once upon a time I've read the revised book. Danny and Joey both went over the revised book, so Danny learned some new things. I myself didn't this time. I read the first edition.
Oh, Jesus!
I see. Yeah, I didn't tell them either, so they think I read the same thing I did. But I thought it would be a good idea to get a separate perspective.
Okay.
So it's a book I never read. Well, I read it this time. Danny's never read the revised, so boom. So it's a fresh set of eyes from a different angle.
Okay.
There's stuff I got here that's not in your books. There's stuff you've got in yours that's not in mine. But I wanted that out there first before we went on. I'm sorry, Danny. Please go ahead.
No, it's fine. And I already probably got a question. My thoughts.
Your thoughts on the tribe?
Children of Gaia. Well, I can't say they're the most unrelatable tribe because obviously I'm not a Red Talon, and obviously I can't be a Black Fury. But they're still one of the most. They're still so unrelatable to me that I have a hard time understanding.
You have to process your feelings and move through them.
And as rage monsters, how do you do that?
You have to find the quiet place in your soul. And you have to be okay with that.
It also helps if you're 30% granola. There's a lot of ground to cover here. Is I think the tribe series, what do you say about a tribe? There's plenty to go to. And I know when I was looking through, because again, and the thing is, I read a different book than you guys.
Right.
But I want to start with the Impersium.
Okay.
There was this awesome little segment in there that I got a kick out of. Mm-hmm. It's the Silver Fangs wouldn't listen to reason. They insisted that if the Weaver prevailed, the wild would be destroyed. And this was part of their argument against the Impersium. So, cut to modern day.
Cut to people listening to us on their phones.
Yep. Good percentage, too. We got that data. And then one guy in an Apple Watch. Who are you, sir? Please email it. I want to know who this person with the Apple Watch is. Anyway. It's just a thing. I can't help it. But it seems to be, from that little snippet, the little excerpt, that that's a great case for to not stop the Impertium.
Right.
So, what the hell, Children of Gaia?
I can't defend them on this one. I really can't. I really can't. I do love this tribe. I don't agree with everything that they say. There's a lot from their past that I can't defend. I mean, I'm sorry, but, and I think it's the same with most of the tribes, is they made some bad calls and, they're not willing to take responsibility for them.
And I think that's true in a great many cases. And, don't get us wrong here. Joey's not the arbiter and the defender of all things Child of Gaia. She just happens to be playing one right now. It's not even your favorite tribe.
No.
So she just happens to be one.
Yeah.
So, you were not the fucking defender of this keep, per se.
I can just, tolerate them.
You're the one with the best outlook on them.
Yes.
I know that, when I made Once Upon a Time, I just had to sit down, I had to read all the tribe books.
Okay.
And I'm talking the second edition, the quote revised ones. Mm-hmm. Or third edition, whatever. Tribe book 2, third edition, revised, whatever. But yeah, I read all those books. And I walked away from each tribe with either a greater appreciation or respect for all of them, except the Children of Gaia, who I walked away losing respect for. Danny, what was your impression?
I haven't read all the books, so I can't say that, but I don't see how they can't take some of the responsibilities. It's every tribe was part of some, the Impersium, the War of Rage. They went in there saying, yes, we did this, but it was everyone else's fault. Yes, this happened, but it was because everyone else did this. It's so hard to relate.
And it's one of those
still
things.
Having trouble.
It's one of those things, like, I see the mistakes that they made in the past, and I am choosing to try to learn from those and have it reflect on my character to grow from that. And they don't generally talk about those things because,
No.
you just don't bring those things up. But I think if they did talk about it more, it would get easier to admit their faults and their misdeeds. But I don't think any of the tribes really take responsibility.
That's not true, but it's mostly true.
I was going to say, I'm sure they take, again, I haven't read them all, so I can't say for sure. But I'm sure at least they take, okay, yeah, we did this. Maybe it wasn't all of our fault, but okay, we'll take a little bit of that.
You'd be surprised how often the tribe books shirk responsibility. Seriously.
Just ping pong it back and forth.
Yeah.
You would be surprised. And you will be as we continue on.
Oh, great, can't wait.
Jesus.
Because this series is going to have all of us reading all of the tribe books. Yay! Hey.
Yeah.
Well, at least we're getting this one out of the way.
There's your right. Let's rip off that Band-Aid. And, back to the Impersium for a second, and we're going to keep score of this shit. This is something I definitely want to keep score of. According to the Children of Gaia book I read, they ended the Impersium. They ended the Impersium by challenging the Silver Fangs, and they, and I quote, arranged the challenge by gamecraft. It's a quote, because it's a neat trick, since, the challenger doesn't dictate the form of the challenge. Also, they had a Stargazer sub in for them on the challenge, so what the fuck is that? But I want to keep score of every tribe that claims to have ended the Impersium.
Yes.
Because I think it's going to be like 10.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 1.
Yeah, via 1. But does that jive with the revised version?
Again, it was very difficult for me to even keep reading, so I can't tell you for sure. I know what the Impersium was, but I couldn't tell you how they ended it.
In the revised edition, they did take credit for ending the Impersium.
That's 1, everybody. That's 1.
Ding, ding, ding.
I think we're going to end up at like 10. I think it will be 10 tribes will claim that they ended the Impersium. Now, something I found interesting, again, with my end of things, is the War of Rage. This goes back to what you were talking about, with they don't discuss these things.
Oh, yeah, no.
Didn't mention it. Didn't come up.
Nope.
Oh, in first edition, it
Didn't come up. Wasn't important.
Wow. That kind of says something about the entire tribe, doesn't it?
I'm just sitting here.
What do you think,
up.
Joey?
Again, I've said, I think they need to talk about this stuff more. I think that ripping off that Band-Aid, and some people say it's opening old wounds, but honestly, you kind of have to if you want it to heal right.
I agree.
And there's a portion of don't air your dirty laundry, but maybe you wash your dirty laundry, maybe that's a thought.
Right. There's no better way to put that.
As someone whose laundry service has been closed because of this whole stuff outside, you do want to wash your laundry. It's not good if you don't get to do that.
Because then you become a dirty hippie.
I understand that, because, again, I haven't had pickup in a month.
You're turning into a child of Gaia.
I'm not wearing shoes. I am, in fact, barefoot right now. And, on that note, I will say, I'm gonna give these guys a hard time. I'm going to spend the rest of this episode just sticking it to this tribe, because they irritate me. However,
okay.
I don't disagree with everything that they do. I am a fan of the idea that in order to, win the day, to stand a chance in the end times, they need to have a unified front, the nation, to stop that infighting. I disagree with how they choose to go about it. I love that True Silverheels abolished the camps. I'm historically anti-camp in the Gyro Nation, because I think it further divides even within a tribe. Hell, this isn't this episode, but you look at the Glass Walkers, that's a tribe whose camps actively go against each other for control of that tribe. That's ridiculous. So the fact that True Silverheels is like, this camp shit is bull, nah, it's got to go. I support that wholeheartedly.
Now, is that a Children of Gaia exclusive, though?
That camps are abolished?
Yeah, the Silver Healers. Is that what you call it?
True Silverheels. He's one of the tribal leaders.
Oh, okay. So that's a specific person.
Yes.
Okay. I thought you mentioning it more of as a group.
No, he was mentioned in the book.
Yeah, I tried. It didn't get that much. I apologize.
Someone just got busted.
Yeah.
Now, I understand what you're saying about the infighting between camps, but I do enjoy the camps, and I think it gives everybody a place. The subdivisions, it allows like-minded people to gather and, communicate. So I'm not against the camps.
Well, for example, like the Anointed Dead camp, which advocate for complete pacifism.
Yes.
That would be a great example of, Gaia's fangs, her warriors and champions, coming together like-mindedly to never get involved in any sort of combat.
Complete pacifism.
Good job.
Complete pacifism is extremely rare, and 99.9% of people, let alone guru, who state that they are 100% pacifists, are not, because they are going to fight to save their own life.
So you're suggesting that they're full of shit?
Yes. Yeah, I am.
I love that.
And my thing is, until brass tacks, until they're laying down in front of a tank, you're not going to know. And my hat is off to anyone who can be, threatened with immolation and say, bring it. Because that is willpower like I have never seen before. If you want to light me on fire, you're going to have to work for that shit.
Or be Whiplash and catch you sleeping.
I'm saying me, not my character.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You know,
what kills you makes you. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
You can
yeah,
soak
what
it.
kills you, as it turns out.
It's okay. You can soak it, right?
Coming soon to a coffee mug near you. I can soak it.
Oh man, I can't wait for that.
Yes, we got some plans. There might be a draft of that floating around somewhere behind the scenes. So yeah, I and I totally set you up there. I'm sorry.
That's okay. when you pulled that one out, I knew where you were going.
Yep.
But yeah, no.
That was a trap.
It was a trap. It's a trap. Don't choke over there, Danny. No.
Try not to.
To say you're 100% a pacifist, I can probably count on one hand the number of examples of true pacifism I've been exposed to.
And, that's in your world, in the real world, and not in the game.
Which has rage ratings.
Which is exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I mean, you're not on trial here. The Children of Gaia maybe are a little bit, but you're not on trial here. But, I appreciate you bringing up, or you admitting that they're full of shit on this, because they certainly don't.
Oh, I know.
And that's part of
Yeah.
the problem for me. Mm-hmm. Again, this we're not on this episode yet, but there are books out there. There are tribe books out there that you talk about their core tenets or whatever, and there will be sections where they admit that they're full of shit. There's a great one in the Stargazers, and I'll just leave that there until we get to that episode.
Okay.
But I love that bit because it's like, yeah, we believe in this, but yeah, also we're a little full of shit because we're rage monsters.
Yeah, and, light one of those pacifists on fire and throw them into a frenzy. See what happens.
Sure. But I think either way, the idea of that camp is just the antithesis of their mission is Garu in the nation. They are Gaia's fangs. This is the job their creator gave them.
And then there's the imminent strike.
I see what you did there. And of course, Echo is a
Yes.
member of the Imminent Strike. And that's, I wouldn't call it the polar opposite, but it's, they're very my way or the highway.
They are. And Danny, I know
Yeah.
we're kind of radio for two over here.
No, I'm listening because I don't have a lot of, I don't want to. These aren't my people, so to hear at least another opinion is still worthwhile to listen to.
But Echo is kind of your people.
Now, yes, but that's still pretty new in our game.
So you have to, as a player,
Mm-hmm.
forget that you ever heard the word imminent strike.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
Something we like to use: player knowledge versus character knowledge.
And I think that should just kind of be a baseline.
Oh, definitely. Because, there's a lot of things that I would love to discuss, and we will discuss as the podcast continues on, that these guys don't know about.
Right.
At the risk of getting hit with a couple phrasings. I was on the Werewolf Facebook group. Hi, everybody. And, the Big P was mentioned. And pulling out the Big P, I'd love to discuss the Big P, but these guys don't know about the Big P.
Well, I think, I know. I don't think Tom or Jessica knows.
Oh, so Danny's been doing some research on the sly.
I just want to say
A little
phrasing
bit.
so bad.
Okay. But see, I gave you. So it was like a gift wrapped. It's almost like an apology for the rest of my notes.
Oh.
No, I know what it is, and I know what they represent, and I get it. But again, Hunter doesn't.
Right. And so again, that's player knowledge versus character knowledge. But again, it's an example of something that I'd like to talk about, but if you guys don't know about, do you want to ruin that surprise? Anyway, back to the point.
Anyway, back to imminent strike. Without imminent strike, I think Echo would have developed to be a different person, she wouldn't have gotten that sense of belonging because she was ostracized in her home territory because of her feelings and her beliefs, and she didn't fit in. And the imminent strike gives her that, which I don't think is a bad thing.
Well, I think in terms for your character, absolutely not. You know, and I'm not. Hell, one of the NPCs is a child of Gaia from the imminent strike. Mm-hmm. You know, so I get it, but at this point, I'm separating again player versus character.
Right.
You know, or storyteller versus at this
Yeah.
point. I just don't like these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. You don't have to like them.
I certainly don't worry about that. You know, Danny has his hand raised. I know the man wants to expand on this.
He's scratching my head.
Oh.
Well, I know, you said something off camera.
There's cameras
Jesus.
now.
Something off mic. I'm not even hinting at something in the future. I just didn't say off mic for some reason.
Foreshadowing again?
No, it's not at all foreshadowing.
No,
You're
not
gonna be
at
on
all.
Camera. But you said something off mic about your view of the tribe based on what you read.
You mean a mix of
Yeah.
the hippies from the 70s and the hipsters of today?
Yeah, and that's kind of what you took away from it.
Yeah, it's as close as I can come up with as examples.
And my question is that a bad thing?
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and don't get me wrong, especially for the listeners. I'm not saying the Children of Gaia are bad people. I'm just saying
Thank you. They appreciate that.
I hope so. Hopefully you keep listening. But I can't relate to them. I just don't have that, and I don't. Now, there are some things where, their beliefs and what they do, I understand why they do it. It doesn't mean I agree with it.
Such as?
Well, kind of like, they feel like fear and violence are, those things make the worm's presence even stronger. And
It does.
right,
True.
but that's not the only thing. So, if you stop the spread of the fear and the violence, you stop and you prevent the worm. But again, if those aren't the only things that prevent them,
But you have to pick something to start with.
true.
So fear
Well-
and violence are a good thing to start with, aren't they?
But by that logic, doesn't that mean you let that gorehound continue his killing spree because that would be using violence to stop him, which again would feed the beast of war?
Right. Their methods of doing so.
Then you just beat them with the anointed dead.
But that's not the Children of Gaia way.
And there's many ways to play Children of Gaia. Echo is an example.
No,
Agreed.
certainly.
Yes.
You know?
I like how that character developed. It makes a lot of sense, especially her being around.
Yeah. And I mean, violence, there's a line in the sand. You sometimes, unfortunately, have to solve problems with violence. And if that violence is going to stop a worse issue, then it becomes a better alternative. If you can use your words and you can, mediate an issue, that's the best solution. But if somebody is beating an innocent child, are you going to just stand there and go, hold on, let's get a mediator? No, you're going to stop them by whatever means necessary.
Exactly the point, though. I mean,
And Children of Gaia recognize that. And it's one of those, you jump in the middle of that fight. And if I, Echo, myself, whoever, has to take a couple of socks to the face, that's fine. That's the price of doing business.
See, that seems to me like an example where they wouldn't resort to violence.
yeah.
I don't know what
No,
else
I'm with you on that one. I know what you're trying to say, and I agree.
Because, that guy hitting his kid is theoretically, an innocent. He doesn't have a stake in the grand scheme of things. Or the pack of spirals over there, well, kill them, please, and thank you.
Well,
But,
I'm saying, jump in the way, block the kid.
okay, you're not saying beat the holy hell out of the father.
No. But even just jumping into that fight can represent a level of violence.
Yeah. I mean...
And yes, you take out that pack of spirals by any means necessary.
And I think in the case of the Children of Gaia, it would be calling some capable Garu. Ooh.
Oh, no. Yeah. Echo will get there. Echo will get there.
To rip on him.
Even a broken clock's right twice a day, though. Echo is an exception.
Echo will get there.
It's like Echo in True Silver Heels, maybe Celeste Snowtop, just because I like her.
As it says no top.
Snow.
Because it sounds like no top.
Jeez Louise, get your mind out of the gutter.
Man. Hey, Philodox. What's that first tenet?
Garu should not mate with other Garu.
All right, then. You go hit the showers, buddy. And of course, then there is the litany, which is something maybe we could hold off on because I'm excited to talk about it.
Oh, boy. Oh, this isn't going to be good for me.
Well, it's not going to be good for that tribe.
Okay.
Because, we can just go right in.
Yeah, just let's
All right.
Hit her.
Get out the sticks.
I will with the words, not.
All right, hit her with the words.
The baseball bat and the pillowcase. That's in the other room.
Okay.
But they actively throw the first tenet out the window. Mm-hmm. Since we were just talking about it, they actively do. They promote that. They're totally fine with Garu screwing. Provided you use birth control. But if accidents happen, they're fine with that too. They'll take good care of that kid. They'll treat it right. Total respect and love, no matter what. So, fuck rules. I can see that maybe the kid didn't choose to be born. Mm-hmm. Certainly. But we're not overly concerned with punishing the parents either. Just spit in Gaia's eye.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts. I have the floor now?
Oh, like you're being persecuted.
So, yes, and they adopt metis.
Yes.
From other tribes as well.
Yes, they do.
And they raise them with respect and dignity and love and acceptance. And really, shouldn't any child, that's hashtag goals. So, okay, I'm down with that. And if that saves that metis from turning to the worm or being corrupted, then why not? That's an extra warrior for Gaia.
And that is a perfectly fair argument against the first tenet, but the tenet does exist. We are talking about...
Now we get into the fun part about what is mating. Is it having sex or is it getting pregnant? Where does that line?
And that's an argument that they make. I'm not standing here as a Philodox. I'm just pointing out one of their many...
I see those eyes. I'm just listening. Give them a second here.
Pointing out one of the many times that they just don't seem to give a shit about the litany. I've got a few here. They throw that first tenet out completely. Respect the territory of another. Violated consistently. With the excuse that all of humanity is their protectorate, so it's all their territory. I think by that logic, I'm going to take Danny's car today. We're all a brotherhood anyway, so it's fine.
So it's okay?
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, good luck finding my keys.
Well, I'm sure they're going to be in my new house. So I'm going to bring my shit over. You'll find somewhere. It's fine.
How do I even respond to that? No. That's it. That's all I got. No.
Good. How about the veil shall not be lifted? They state, and again, maybe the revised book says differently. But according to the first, they often seek to, and I quote, make new kinfolk by bringing humans that aren't currently kinfolk into the fold. to use their gifts to let the humans see the Umbra.
That's an absolute violation.
And strikes me as like a lot dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous.
But there are humans who the veil doesn't work for.
That's true. There are some that are immune to they are completely immune to the delirium, not the veil, but yeah,
You know. So,
Right, but isn't that number so small?
it's very small.
But I mean, police, first responders. I mean, those are prime examples of where you're gonna find those people.
Well, not exclusively. But
No, but I mean, it's a higher percentage because they have that mentality. They have that ability to override that.
Well, they can handle it differently, but there is that less than 1%, I think it is, that it's just immune.
And if you
for
can,
whatever reasons that we don't know why.
and if you can find those people and you can get them on your side, again, more eyes and ears for us.
And see, I agree with that, but
But
they're
it's
not
still a
talking
risk.
about. But they're not talking about that less than 1%.
And
They're talking about, well, gee, Stan's a really cool guy. He's the Genshiest. Let's just tell him about our secret nature worshipping murder cult and where we let our cubs sleep.
And if you can use, some LSD to open his mind and in a safe and controlled environment, help him accept it.
With
Okay.
LSD?
Well, what the balls is a safe environment? The apocalypse is in like 20 minutes.
But you know what do you understand what I'm saying though? Like if you can do that and that's another person for our side.
But is it?
It's such a huge risk.
Yes. And the fact of the matter is that if the people vetting these guys are also taking the LSD, then they have they don't get a vote. Those are the people I don't want to have a vote. Put the hacky sack down, then maybe you can talk to me seriously about who is a good person to try to bring into the fold.
Hey, Mr. Barefoot,
Yes.
you need to stop with the hecky sack, okay?
He's been practicing for this episode.
No.
Combat the worm, whenever it breeds, wherever it dwells. They combat the hatred in their hearts, in the hearts of others, which is where it breeds. Not like the hive spirals, or the puppy mill, or the blight that's down the street because of that factory, but in their hearts.
2 words.
Bullshit.
7th generation.
Which is a good argument. But
But the worm would make a wound in the hearts of children and corrupt their souls.
yes, which
Again.
no one is arguing. No one's on the side of the 7th generation.
So, yeah, if you can overcome your own negativity and you can, be at peace with your soul, you have a higher chance of combating the worms.
A higher chance than someone else with claws and fangs who can just go combat.
I was going to
You-
suggest
you-
that perhaps decapitation would also work.
I guarantee that.
But if you know yourself and you know your soul and you're at peace with yourself, then you have less of a chance of listening to the negative influences and the hate speech and the hate talk and the fear and the anger just won't get to you.
Danny?
So words and the pen is mightier than the sword kind of thing.
Worked for Benjamin Franklin.
Who was
Benjamin
not a
Franklin
Garo.
didn't have any claws.
I believe was not a Garu. I think if we might have to wait till Silver Fang Week to see if he's been claimed. I have a feeling that's where he'd go. But, that's another tally I want to make.
I think kind of my point is leave the protests in the speeches and you should, and maybe even like the what's the word I'm looking for? We'll just go with protests. Leave that for kinfolk who have the voices, and leave the fighting to the warriors who were made to defend.
And see, like I had my fun there, picking apart from, and again, the first edition book. So how many of these things have been corrected in the revised?
Yeah.
But, but I couldn't ignore those. But to bring on, to expand on Danny's point, I kind of feel the same way. And that was part of the problem I had with the revised book, is that fucking narrative. The idea of this pack, who I didn't like as people, they bugged me.
Okay.
And then they're like, we're going to go to our protest and do Gaia's work.
Yes.
And I'm like, but that's kinfolk work.
And they are mediators, and they do get extremely involved in human politics, to legislate and try to control the corporations and, to lobby.
And that's important. That's totally important. But it's kinfolk work. And I say that because here's the thing, and we're removing Echo, that it's a different character. It's a complex character. Echo's a good character. Joey does a good job with Echo. I'm intrigued to see where that goes. But you look at your average child of Gaia,
Now, the average child of Gaia, or the average child of Gaia that you write because you dislike the tribe, and so they're all biased innately.
Oh.
That is
Sorry,
not true
man.
and not fair.
Sorry, but she kind of got you.
Reed's a badass.
One.
How many of you guys met, though?
Oh, okay.
Not very many.
No. Okay. Point to point. Yeah, you each get a point for that. I'll give it to both of you.
But see, here's the thing. This is the thing, And we'll even use Reed as an example, excuse me. Yeah, he can go and help with legislation and try to help get laws passed and, pass out flyers and get signatures and all that shit. Maybe it saves a state park. Maybe it starts a cleanup operation, in a local, a river or something. And those are good things. Those are important to Gaia. But, he's doing that when a kinfolk, let's say Dave the Kinfolk could do it. But Dave the Kinfolk can't turn into a 10-foot tall rage monster and go battle and cleanse the Umbra of this Bane infestation. Reed can. And instead he's wasting his time gathering signatures. That's kinfolk work. It's important work, but it's kinfolk work. And it's kinfolk work because the kinfolk can't do that Garu work. I'm not saying it's not important.
100% agreement. And Joey she's trying to think of an answer, but I can't help you on that one because I am 100% agreeing on that.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not really a debate,
Right. No, I get it.
None of this is a debate.
No.
No. Because like I've told you many times, I like Children of Gaia. I don't agree with everything. But I do like that they try to use their words. They try. Does it always work? Hell no. They're rage monsters. They're 10-foot tall murder machines. They're not going to be able to go and sit in Congress. So, yeah, Reed may be out there collecting signatures, but I guarantee you he's spying on somebody, for some other reason. He's not just out there collecting signatures. There's another reason he's out there.
And that might be true, and again, I'm going to look back to the narrative because that's a better example, not just one we're making up right now.
Right.
They were going to a protest to help protest and I'm paraphrasing here, in case the cops get out of line. Fine. But again, you make the argument that there's nothing they're doing there that a kinfolk can't do. While there are many things that a kinfolk can't do that they can and perhaps should be doing. I think it's a poor use of their time.
I agree with that. And, none of us wrote that narrative.
No, so. Exactly. But again, everybody, this is not Porter and Danny versus Joey Day. That's not what's actually happening here.
But if you do like the Children of Gaia, write in.
Defend Joey. I'd love to hear others' opinions. I'd love to hear. Yes, I have formed my own opinion on this, but that's because I can't relate to him very well.
And I think Children of Gaia make great philodoxes.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah, back to the peacekeeper idea, yeah.
Yeah, mediators.
And again, I wholeheartedly agree that, you know, a unified Gaia nation it's necessary for the final days. You know, a lot of my problem with the Children of Gaia comes from execution. It comes from the thing like the poor management of resources, the doing kinfolk work, when let the kinfolk do that, let the Gaia do the Gaia work, or things like their attitude, where they're just so high up on their high horse of how enlightened they are and everyone should be like them. You know, it's like we referenced earlier, where they don't admit that their shit stinks. And a lot of tribes go out of their way to go, this wasn't my fault. But they have flaws. And of course, the Children of Gaia are no exception. All of the Gaia tribes are flawed in some way.
Right.
But they will not admit that. You know, you look back to the War of the Rage example.
They don't talk about it.
Yeah, just nothing. And that bothers me.
And it should, because, you know, how are we going to learn from our past?
Exactly.
You know, I find that bothersome too. You know, I think they need to be more open and accepting.
Which is ironic, but I'm right there with you.
yeah, irony, big time. Most,
you know, I've
open and accepting of all the tribes.
Right. I've got one other thing I pulled out of the that first edition book.
Okay.
And it goes back with the litany, and I don't know if this is in the revised. Mm-hmm. So I would love.
Okay.
I would love to know, because this is another one that really got to me. You know, like I was pointing out all the examples they have of just not caring about the litany and how that's a problem. But they're stories of the, quote, the desperate one, which is an alleged Child of Gaia hero who will win the apocalypse only after breaking each tenet of the litany. And I read that, and I go, doesn't that just encourage Cubs to piss on the laws for the nation?
Absolutely does. Now, whether or not it's in the revised edition, I'm not sure. I don't think I've read that far.
Joey, does that ring any bells?
No, I mean...
It feels like something that absolutely shouldn't have been included in revised.
No, and the only thing I can
this guy.
the only thing I can think of, but I don't think it's Children of Gaia, is the Metis.
No, the perfect Metis.
The perfect Metis, but
which
that's
is
not.
You know, like I don't know, like 8 years before that.
Yeah,
so.
right. No.
That story. That sounds absolutely crazy to me.
Yeah, it's complete. And again, how ridiculous. But again, this is the thing where I went to, and I'm kind of glad I went to first edition. You know, and I think that might be a thing with the future ones, as someone reads first edition.
I think that this is just, you know, it seems like a fireside tale. And breaking each one of the tenets.
Like, how irresponsible.
That's...
Extremely.
Because to me, when I hear that, I think every Cub sitting around the fire, you know, hearing the stories in the drum circle with the bong in his hand, is going to go, man, I want to be the chosen one. I'm going to go run in front of some news cameras and shift the Krynos.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an extreme example.
I want to be the chosen one. I'm going to go break every single rule of the litany.
And that's how we get new spirals.
Oh, my gosh.
He just struck me as so fucking irresponsible. You know, so I would not be surprised if it wasn't included in revised, and I hope it's not in revised. Mm-hmm. Isn't that some shit, though?
Oh, my God, that's... But, I mean, like, there's some ones that, like, you know... There's some ones that are kind of tough to break. So it's like, you got to work at that crap.
Right, I don't know, we call like a construction crew to your cairn. We need to build a parking lot. This is the address. You know? But like, how do you do that and ever come back from, you know? Resident Philodox, what would be the punishment for that crime?
Oh, that's death. For all of them?
I mean, well, just for ye shall take no action that cause a care to be violated.
Oh.
I mean, that's death there.
You have successfully argued that one against me, so that's not necessarily death.
I mean, you're putting not only your cairn, but like the rest of your entire sept and everybody in there at risk. That is so... Oh my God.
I couldn't fucking believe it. You can't imagine how happy I was to find it too, because I'm like, yeah, I hate these guys. I'll cop to it. I was thrilled to go through that first edition book and see like, oh, we don't need to follow the litany because we like peace. I was thrilled to pull those examples out because it's that attitude that makes me dislike the Children of Gaia so much. Their message is on point. It's just their actions, I think, are horseshit.
Yeah.
You know, I like the message. The
There's no
follow
better way to put that.
Not a fan.
And I think there is somewhere, somehow, a valid argument for breaking each one of the tenets. Don't ask me right now what they are,
No, see.
but they're you know, and certainly not the same person. That is, you know, somebody jumped in a toxic chemical and got some sort of superpower. That's what that story is.
Yeah. Well, you know, you talk about the reason to break every tenet, and you know that is that's an idea I've had. That's an episode I've wanted to do for a while. Mm-hmm. I want to grudge match Tom and Danny and have them argue the litany.
Oh my God,
that would be amazing.
So that's an episode that's going to happen, Danny. That's an episode that's going to happen.
I'm making popcorn.
Tom, get your shit ready because that's down the line, buddy.
It's coming.
It's going to be called Grudge Match.
Ooh.
I want it to be called Grudge Match, even though there has been no grudge whatsoever.
There's no grudge.
See, that's the thing too, and sorry because it's not the Philodox or the Ragged Bash episode anymore, but like there's some of those that I've tried thinking of like the opposite for. Like, okay, so if I ever had to debate this, I need to know what the other side thinks of it. God, and that's not going to be a fun episode for me.
That's going to be my favorite episode. I'm excited for it. That's just going to be the future. But we're in the present.
Yeah.
So I have aired my grievances. Danny, have you aired yours?
I think way more than I should have, yeah.
So,
and again, I apologize to anyone who plays Children of Gaia. But I would like to know your opinions on them. Please write in.
Yeah. And where do they write in, Danny?
Where?
Yeah. What's the email?
RageAcrossPodcast.com.
No.
At gmail.com.
At Gmail. Let me try that again.
Okay, do it again.
RageAcrossPodcast@gmail.com.
Perfect. That's where you write into us.
Or
And
you
will
could
read that
reach
shit.
me
on Twitter. Yep. At Rage Across. Or, I mean, you could send me a message on Facebook at Rage Across the Internet, but send it in the email.
Yeah.
Just send it in the email. This way we can do that on... We can answer that on the podcast if we want to.
But, you know, we've got Cubs Corner.
We're not even there yet.
Ooh!
Because, you know, we got done airing our grievances and all that.
Oh, boy.
So...
Here we go.
Why is it a new player? Why you want to go Children of Gaia? See, we're gonna cut you some slack here. We got done. We put the bats away.
So, I think as a new player or as an experienced player, you want to go with a tribe that speaks to you.
Absolutely true.
And, you know, I can relate to the Children of Gaia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 30% granola, something like that.
It's true.
You know, I take extra foam on my latte, so hipster.
Her knees are made of raisins.
No, they're not.
No, seriously, she's like trail mix from the knees down. There's a sesame seed where your ankle's supposed to be. Don't fuck around.
Sesame seeds and trail mix? I've never... You
Delicious.
need to share that recipe with me.
It can absolutely be part of a trail mix.
It can be.
Huh.
Anywho. And picking a tribe it's a personal decision. I can't tell people what they should or shouldn't play. They have to have a soft spot in their heart for that tribe, whether it be the Geta Fenris or the Children of Gaia. You know, it has to speak to them on a soul deep level.
I think that's... I mean, I don't disagree with anything you just said there, but I think if I were to give advice to a new player,
Mm-hmm.
I would shy them away from the Children of Gaia. Because, you know, like I just sat here and spent I don't know how fucking long it is having a go at them and poking holes in their argument and, you know, just fighting them tooth and nail, which is half for the sake of devil's advocate and half because I just don't like the tribe. But, you know, if I was going to advocate someone to roll a Child of Gaia, I would want it to be a more experienced player. Because as, you know, I went down those grievances, I put out a lot of hypocrisy in that tribe. And I feel like a more experienced player would have more meat to play with inside that hypocrisy.
Oh.
So I would definitely not recommend it to a new player, but someone with some more experience.
Yeah.
Because I think there's just more there.
And I think with the new player, they're going to get caught up with the hippie mentality.
which is an easy trap to fall in. And it's there, but
It's not all of it.
it's not all of it. You know, and I'm just freaking people out because it sounds like I did a 180, but look, there's devil's advocate and there's not.
Right. And, for the record, Echo is really not a hippie.
No.
Also, Joey isn't really a quarter trail mix. her knees and ankles are made of knee and ankle stuff. Not.
Close.
Anatomy and Physiology class was brought to you today by Porter.
Knee and ankle stuff. You're welcome, everybody. Yeah, Danny, what are you?
I think I've said my piece, and like I said, I'm not a huge fan, but like I try and understand as much as I can. And again, I understand and appreciate some of the views they have, but I absolutely don't agree with them.
And I think I'm pretty well there on that myself, but I've made my stance really clear. Again, I would say a more experienced player, I think, can get the most out of that, and I think you're proving with Echo.
Yeah.
That there is meat there. There is something interesting there. For as much as we give them shit about their peacenik ways, they do have their own fighting style based on the staff, which
Ixaku?
or
I'm not saying that other one. There is a typo in the book.
yeah, they're it's spelled two different ways. So it's either
Find it. I encourage you to find it.
it's either Ixaku or Iskaku.
We chose to go
With the spelling that reminds us less of Panasia. But it is there, and it's spelled two different ways.
and the fighting style is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
And they have Luna's armor, which allows her to soak silver.
It's very good. It's a defensive. They have Grandmother's Touch,
Yes.
which
Is
call a cop if in real life tell someone.
yes.
Jesus Christ.
But Echo's a badass.
Yes, she
Yes.
is.
Yes, I'll say this much. I don't think I would have wanted to be part of this episode if I didn't appreciate Echo so much.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome. I think you've done an awesome job with that character. Now, I know you've played this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, having a different perspective on it is definitely nice. It's a nice change of scenery.
And when I was flipping through the core book, trying to figure out what I was going to play,
Mm-hmm.
I was at Porter's house, and I'm sitting on the couch, and I said, uh-oh. And you were like, what? And I'm like, I think I figured it out. And you were like, what are you going to play?
What is it?
And I'm like, you're not going to like it.
Right. So my spidey sense is already fucking tingling.
Oh, yeah.
What did you do?
As soon as it was you're not going to like it, you knew right away, didn't you?
No, because I have a laundry list of bad decisions that could have been.
Jesus, so it wasn't even your first choice?
Oh, I was going back and forth between several bad decisions. And I chose...
So you're admitting they're all bad decisions.
Well, in his mind.
You just got Philinoxed.
I did. But I said, I think I want to play a Child of Gaia.
And to be fair, how much shit did I really give you?
Oh, not much. But you did say, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And I think if I had said, well, she's going to wear bangles and, dress in a flowy white dress and, sing Fleetwood Mac songs all day long, I think you would have given me a lot more shit.
Probably. But that's also... You and I go way back.
Mm-hmm.
And so, here was the thing, is it was less... I don't want you to play them because I don't like this. It wasn't that. It was, I've seen what you as a Black Fury, your Black Fury looks like.
Right.
we've done Get a Fenris.
Yep.
We've done Shadow Lord. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was show me something new.
Okay. And I think I am.
No, you definitely are.
So.
You know, it's a good character. You know, and there's stuff there. If it's a tribe you want to play,
yeah.
You know, I don't like them. That's fine.
And I think it's up to each individual person who, you know, picks up the core book and says, you know, yeah, I can dig these people.
And I think maybe that's where you want to go with it. I hate to say that, but maybe if you're a new player and you're looking into the Children of Gaia, again, I think maybe more experience, you'll get the most out of it. But hey, if this is what you want to start with, it's what you want to start with. Don't read the revised book.
No.
Maybe just the write-up in W20 can be enough.
And I mean, like, in W20, they bring up, you know, the voice of the goddess, which is always a female child of Gaia. And then they bring up the arm of the goddess, which is always a male. And, like, that rubs Echo wrong. Because, you know, why can't she be the arm of the goddess? But, see, that's part of my character.
Right.
And so, you know, she's looking at the hypocrisy. And she doesn't agree with everything. And I don't think we all have to agree with everything in those tribe books. I think that, you know, our characters are people too. And they have their own opinions and their own, you know, likes, dislikes, and feelings.
Well, that I couldn't agree with more. I think that's very important. You know, I mean, there are the tribal lines, you know, and to an extent, that's a big deal, you know, but it also matters who that person is, who that character you have created is, who is Echo, you know, and how was Echo raised? Echo wasn't raised in a Child of Gaia sept where that was just, you know, hammered and chiseled into her brain every day.
Right.
And she's ideally, and Echo is because Joey's that kind of player, you know, she's not new to this, that's a person, Echo, who has her own thoughts and opinions, and whether or not she drinks the Kool-Aid or not, that's up to her. You know? So yeah, I think who you are is who the character is as a person is the worthier part.
Yeah.
But anyone have any final thoughts on that?
No, I got nothing left. I apologize, but I'm tired of beating up on them.
Oh.
Aw.
I don't think you beat up on him too much, but
No, I don't think so.
me on the other hand, I forget about it. But
You definitely did.
oh yeah, well, look, I pulled things out of the book.
Out of their book that they set forth.
Right. So
So if they didn't want people beating up on them, well, maybe you hide the skeletons a little better.
see, you hear that, everybody? The Child of Gaia player didn't think I was out of line.
I mean, I think you had some valid points.
Well, I mean, that's what it was about, you know.
Right.
You know, no tribe is perfect by any means, and you know, I like the idea as we go forward to have a dissenting voice for a tribe.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's important.
I think it is. It's a point-counterpoint issue.
Right. You know, there's the good and the bad, and both should be discussed if we're going to do a series like this, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, agreed.
But with that, it is time for the Cubs Corner.
Yay, Cubs
Joey,
Corner.
what do you got for us today?
I have 2 questions today.
Well, I'm going to answer 1.5 of them.
Okay. Do we want to start with the easier or the more complicated question?
Well, I didn't say which one would be the half, so let's roll the dice.
Okay. What is the Guru Nation?
Well, that's very
That's the half.
Yeah, that's his half.
Okay. Well, that's a really simple question.
Yeah.
Well, the the Garu is the term that werewolves use for themselves, and the nation is the sum total of the 13 tribes.
Okay.
So the Garu Nation is the 13 tribes of werewolves.
Now, does it include kinfolk?
Sure.
Are you sure about that?
They can. Well, you could make the argument, and this is a different question. You can make the argument that they carry the Garu gene, which absolutely exists or absolutely doesn't, depending on which source book you're reading at the time. That's fun.
Hey,
Another
continuity.
topic.
It's a thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Jesus.
another fuck. But yeah, that's what the Gyro Nation is.
Okay. Now for the slightly more complicated question.
Awesome, Danny.
You're up, Danny.
Okay.
What is a fetish?
Oof. Man.
Wish we had a
Well,
whip
see-
sound effect.
Well, fetishes, if we're talking in Werewolf,
Yeah, you pervert. What else would we be talking about?
could be any kind of object that a spirit could be attached to really better that object.
It's essentially we'll use the term magic item, even though my eyes rolled so hard I might pass out.
If we're looking in the basic of all terms here to try and explain.
No, yeah, that's right.
Right. I mean, you have a sword, and you now attached a war spirit into that sword. That sword just became better.
Yes.
I mean,
That's the short
basics.
version. Yeah, So yeah, and that's actually a pretty good question.
Yeah.
Because I could only imagine, right? Like not knowing the game. Because
And-
again,
and
we
you-
have people out there who don't know the game who are listeners. Hi, we appreciate you.
Yes,
Probably
thanks for
thinking
coming back.
what sort of freaks are these guys that they're talking about they're alluding to their fetishes all day long. I promise no one's dressed as a clown or in diapers or there's no leather. Everybody's it's not that. It's
Everybody
not
is clothed,
that. Yep.
and there's no feet.
Yeah. Well, no, everyone has feet, but that's not relevant.
And you have bare feet, but
No, I have human feet. I just don't have socks or shoes on.
Boom.
But so that's about it for us today, folks. We hope you liked our first of the Tribal series. And of course, if you have any feedback, any thoughts on it,
let us know.
Let us know because we weren't sure what the Tribal series would look like. I don't hate what we came up with.
Yeah, I don't hate it, and I agree that we need one dissenting opinion.
And I know I was just doing it as a dirty trick, but I like the idea of someone reading the first edition book too, to talk about those differences or to bring them up when they exist.
Right.
Because who knows what a person's playing with? Maybe a version's better.
Phrasing.
Not that type of fetish. Don't. But we don't know who's using what type of books. We don't know. There's just
Exactly.
a lot there, and it's another.
It's another level. It's another perspective.
It's a little more ground to cover.
Yeah.
But so I like it. I think you guys, but we want to hear what you guys think, and well, you know how to contact us, and we will be reiterating that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Trying something new today.
Hey.
So in the meantime, for Danny, for Joy, for myself, for Tom, who isn't here because he can't breathe poor people there, I want to thank you for listening in, and we'll hope to see you next time and be excellent to each other. Thanks as always for tuning in. Remember, we definitely want to hear what you have to say. Feedback, suggestions, give it a name. And you can do that at our email, rageacrosspodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook and Rage Across the Internet. You can get with producer Joey over on our Twitter at Rage Across. When you listen, and we thank you for doing so, remember that you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and our website.
Rage Across the Internet's music is It's Into the Fog by Darren Curtis, shared with a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 unported license. For details, check out the information under the podcast.